Hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on where you're catching us from. Welcome to the Linda Banks Show, and I'm your host, Linda Banks. It's exactly 1907 in the United Kingdom and at 2107 Central African Time. And we have got a bit of a cracker, an interesting program. We have got a formidable woman. Two, to be honest. One is still not yet here, but we've got two formidable women. It's going to be an exciting program, so brace yourselves. And if you could just let us know where you're watching us from, that would be amazing. So send us a message in the comment section below where you're catching us from. Gosh, we already have got Irene Vizenge Muwo. That is a cool name. Irene, good evening or good afternoon. Where are you getting us from? If you could just let us know where you're catching us from, that will be amazing. So we've got Irene, we've got Sarah from Texas. Texas, but Texas nishtamlala all the time. I always seem to have someone from Texas, like up and about. Now then, welcome to the Linda Banks Show. And now this is a program where we discuss issues pertaining to our country, the governance of our nation, and the well-being of our country. Now, on today's program, I have been joined by a formidable woman, and she is one of 887's biggest critics. And she is called Queen Pumi. Queen Pumi, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm honored to be here.
It's lovely to have you. We have never conversed, have we? So you've been setting social media ablaze with your criticism of this president. But for those people who perhaps have been living under a rock and have never come across you, could you just tell us a little bit about you? You were completely in love with the United Party for National Development. What went wrong? How did this love affair go so horribly go wrong?
Yes. Thank you, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching us, and follow our pages and follow, like, share. Let me just break the ice before I get into the meat potatoes of this love relationship gone sour so quick.
We have been joined by Sililo Nyambe. Can you let us know where you're catching us from? Sililo, I see you quite often. Hi, thank you so much for following. He is watching and following the program. Thank you so much. So, Queen Pumi, hi, let's have a chat. I hope you've made your tea. And we're going to have a really honest, candid, and perhaps controversial, but passionate conversation.
Yes. So thanks for having me. And coming back to the question, I've actually lived out of Zambia for over 20 years. And my passion to come back on the political scene was fired when I saw the youths protesting in the bushes in 2021, running up to the elections. Mm-hmm. And the whole country was intimidated. There was a gross violation of human rights. Yeah. And I was watching Sia1 speak for the Zambians. Mm-hmm. And I said to myself, I say to myself, if a foreigner can speak for Zambia, what am I doing? I have a voice, So my journey started from there. I watched some clips by the president, and I immediately connected with his vision for Zambia. I don't know anyone in the ruling party. I just connected with the president through his message that he was sharing for a better Zambia. So we shared that common with him. And I remember one clip which I saw by the president. He actually appealed to Zambians to say, this is your campaign, this is your fight, appoint yourself as an advocate. You are your own campaign managers. Everyone stand up to the plate and the campaign to ensure we have a change. We have to remove PF. We know all the atrocities that PF committed. So every well-meaning Zambian was really, we had it with PF. We are like, they have to go. So I resonated with the president's vision. We campaigned everything. I campaigned day and night for 3 months until we saw the victory. Because of that, I even formed a non-profit organization, which is mainly focused on human rights human rights, and it's called Nangoma Foundation in Zambia, and we helped monitor election in Zambia. Right now, I have over 100 certified human rights advocates in Zambia and Nangoma. So I did a tremendous work with my advocates to ensure the change. Now, then things just started going wrong. it's like whatever was promised was not happening. For me, the eye opener for me was when the current Speaker of the National Assembly. I'm going to be honest, because I am a retired teacher from the civil servant, and I retired under a World Bank project under the IMF, where they had an agreement with the government to shed off some civil servants, and we were given the government then under President Chiluba, the late, may so rest in peace, was given money to lay civil servants, and I was one of those people who got laid off and supposedly supposed to receive a hefty package, which was funded by IMF. And in my retirement process, we were underpaid because somehow the figures were miscalculated, and the government of the day ended up defrauding us thousands of kwacha.
Was this?
Huh? Under Chiluba. So, and then when we got defrauded that money, we appointed a lawyer there, Lukona Chambers, and Nelly Muti was the head of Lukona Chambers, who were supposed to help us get this money. And
so Nelly Muti, for viewers who've just joined, that is the current Speaker of the National Assembly.
So when I saw that appointment of Nelly Muti, my heart sank, because Nelly Muti is in the scandal of 3,000 retired civil servants who have not been paid. It's been a scandal for 23 years. Nelly Muti was not even cleared by that appointment by Law Association of Zambia. So for me, that's where to be honest, that's where the break came in, because the president was talking about accountability, no corruption, and making sure everybody who's appointed has a clean record. But the speaker right now, even if her case was whatever dismissed as no prosecute, it has not been cleared by laws, and she is the speaker. So for me, that's when this divorce started. That's when I started scrutinizing everything they are doing. I'm like, this speaker is in the center of this controversy. And, I gave them a benefit of doubt to say maybe the speaker, maybe Nelly being the speaker, she's going to help resolve this case. But no, we are going on 2 years since this new dawn, and we are still not being paid, even though the president promised to say he's going to pay every retiree what has been outstanding. So that is, in a summary, that is how the fallout started. And then things have just been accumulating. Yeah.
Okay. Now, that is quite interesting, especially for people who are watching. This is a government, this is a party that you so ferociously, passionately fought for. You teamed up with Motomola, one of the Zambian youths, and you were going live like all of us were every evening, putting in so many hours, sometimes awake till past midnight, 1 o'clock, into the wee hours of the morning. And then you hear that this lady who you had encountered at some point has been appointed, and then you just flipped. So it's perfectly understandable that your dislike for the party started from there. But do you think that is fair, though? One person, like Uledi Mbalala, Ulubalala Lumolwabole Shafion, Mama Chika Monica is just calling right now, actually. Hold that thought. Let's see. She's probably having. Mama Chika Monica, good evening.
Good evening. How are you, baby girl?
I'm very well, thank you. You are live. Where are you? We're waiting for you. Restream, just click on the link and join like you did before. You are live right now. Everyone can hear you. Okay. So, sorry about that, viewers. That was Mama Chika Monica, just so that you see, because people always say, oh, she's trying to log on, so she's on her way. Queen Pumi, carry on. So you fell out of love with the United Party for National Development because there was a person who you had encountered, and you feel had defrauded you. But was this her company, or was she just part of a company?
I don't
What
even
went
know
on?
Lupona Chambers, but I hear she owns that law firm. But it's a combination of things. But that is the climax. That in itself is a climax for me. Because when I retired, I'm a civil servant. A lot of people don't know me because I've lived in diaspora. I'm a civil servant. I served the Ministry of Education for 10 years. And when I retired, I was among the young people. And in that group of us retirees, there were some people who had worked 30 years, 20 years close to retirement. But because the IMF package was so lucrative, they opted to take the IMF package than wait for their retirement from the GRZ. That being said, this is 23 years later. For me, this is personal. A lot of people have died.
Yeah.
There is a lot of people who have died due to natural causes and due to anxiety, depression, and everything that comes when you're waiting for a retirement for 23 years. We are in this group. Most of the people who are talking now, who are spearheading, going to Ministry of Justice, going to Ministry of Home Affairs, we are still fighting. Most of the people who are spearheading this cause, they are administrators or children, orphans of deceased civil servants. So this doesn't sit really well with me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's obviously there's so many facets to your angst, Zambians. Yeah, Zambians as a people, we love using certain phrases like disgruntled, angry, or you are, what's the other phrase? Like if you
Bitter.
have bitter. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, you are bitter. You are bitter, Queen Impumi. So you're either bitter, you are disgruntled. Which one of those phrases do
I
you
think
identify
all of them. At this point, you can call me all of them. I accept it and I embrace it.
Is
Because
that
if
true?
anyone,
You're bitter?
yes, I can accept I am bitter because this
What are you
government
bitter about? What are you bitter about?
government campaigned to say all pensioners are going to be paid. They haven't paid us.
Okay. So as a
to be
result of not,
angry, is that a reason to be angry? Like if someone promises you to say, if you campaign for me, all pensioners are going to be paid. And for me, I took it upon myself to say, yeah, I'm going to be paid and I'm going to retire. And then we are going to 2 years later, we are still being given stories. We haven't been paid our money. And then I see a person who was in the center of the reason why I've not been paid. She's now a speaker.
Okay, right. I'm glad you've accepted and owned the word beta. I personally do not like that phrase because
I do not like it, but you know what?
It's true.
You
I
know what?
understand.
People need to hear things.
Yeah, I understand.
They are, because some people say things to hurt people.
Yeah.
You are not going to hurt me because I'm already hurt.
Okay, so you are bitter. You are bitter. One, you didn't get your pension. Two, the person who's in part, because we would like to extend our invitation to the speaker to come and defend herself, because obviously she's not here. She probably was just a part of this company. Maybe she didn't have the entire jurisdiction to pay retirees. So we'll give her a benefit of doubt because she's not here. However, so your bitterness, because you've owned it, I can use that. Your bitterness is as a result of not having been paid what is due to you, right?
Yes, for 23 years. For
23 years.
20 years. Yes, I've not been paid. Yes,
okay.
and we were promised. We were promised. Yeah.
20 years. And the United Party for National Development has been in government for how long?
2 years.
Less than 2 years.
Going on 2 years, but you know what the funny thing is?
Okay, let's go step by step, Queen Impumi.
Yeah.
18 months they have been in government. The
Yeah.
PF had been in government, well, let's say ECL had been in government for 7 years.
Yeah.
Why is the bitterness that you have owned? I'm not calling you bitter. You have said you are bitter.
Yes.
Why is the bitterness directed at this president? Do you think it's misdirected?
It's not directly to him as a person. It
Okay.
is to him and what he promised. I don't know the president as a person. I don't really know him, but he is the mouthpiece of this ruling government, right?
Okay, let's go step by
And
step.
let me also tell you that among the 3,000 people that
Yeah.
have not been paid, under this new dawn, they have selected some people who are being paid.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this
Okay.
government should campaign against corruption, but how come to say among the 3,000 people, there are other people who are on payroll and are being paid, and then other people are not being paid?
That is okay. Thank you. Let's go step by step. So there are people who have been paid and you haven't. So 18 months into this love affair that you started with the
Yeah.
UPND, and
So
18
actually,
months
this is
in
not
terms-
even about me. Like, I just want to make
Sure.
a fact here.
Yeah.
When
Okay.
I campaigned, it wasn't about me. It was about the Zambians. Myself, I've lived here over 23 years. I am American citizen. I am set. I am established. I don't even need to go back to Zambia. So that's just one piece
Home
of
is
the
home,
equation.
Queen. Home is
Yeah,
home.
yeah, but I'm just telling the fact the way it is. Like, I am established. I'm a retiree. I'm over 50 years. And Zambia is an option for me. But my main campaign is looking at the people in Zambia, what is going on there.
We
I'll
will
give you
get to
an
that. Yeah, we will get to the people because you're very passionate and you love your people. You're quite passionate. I want to exhaust you first. So
me first. Okay.
Let's exhaust you first. And we have been
All
joined.
right. Yeah.
Viewers, Mama Chika Monica will need her bundles topped up because she's waiting in the background. So we'll be adding her in a little while. You are bitter. You have said I'm bitter. Not a phrase. If you're joining us, don't go quotes. That's Linda Banks said. Queen Pumi is bitter. Queen Pumi has actually said all the phrases, the anger, the bitterness, she owns it because she has not been paid. Now, she has been waiting for her package, which is due to her. She's worked for it. And she deserves it for over 20 years. Now, this government is young. It's a young bride. Zambia has just been married to Hakainde Hichilema and Nalumango as a vice president for 18 months, which is not long. And the wheels of justice, as we know, take very long. So I'm hoping that this will be resolved so that this love affair can be restored, because this is ridiculous. We cannot have something that you fought for a long time destroyed because you haven't been paid and because you saw Nelly Miti, Honorable Nelly Miti, because she's obviously holds a very high position. We have to give her the respect that she deserves. And this is why our sister, our aunt, is cross, because the president appointed Nelly Miti as speaker. So that's completely understandable. Now then, before we get into the program any deeper, let's welcome Mama Chika Monica. Mama Chika Monica, welcome to the Linda Banks Show. Can you hear me?
I'm good, Mama. Thank you so much. I'm good. Mulishani.
Now, I am a program so to kwata Linda Banks, my programs are Wadishwa Chama cha Switch Zambia. Our voters they are not educated.
Okay, so we have lost Mama, and someone says Muti. Say it right. Nobody I want one book to correct what Simon Moore. Say it right. Muti. Mkwai ni Muti. So correct ba Mama na national at Anik Matipa. Okay, Mama Muti. Twachta correct. So this is really important. Hopefully, Mama Chika Monica will join us in a little while. Network kwa Zambia sometimes ila shuba. So, Twachta establish on. Let's move on now to I'm hoping that having established the fact that 18 months is not very long. The country, you and I were campaigning for this change, Vashta Sila and Co, to kind of do things differently, but Tabale Omfwa, you know, and all that sort of stuff. They just went on to do their own thing, and now the people of Zambia were like, enough is enough. Let's move on. And the UPND got into power. You fought for this just as much as everyone else did. 18 months, a bit premature, some people would say. No?
It just depends what you're looking at. If you're looking maybe at just time and not looking at the history of the country, then you can say 18 months, we need to give them time. But
the
we are
history
looking
of
at
the country, the history of the country, that would be an unfair judgment, placing this responsibility on this young government. Don't you think?
right. But you didn't let me finish my sentence. What I mean by the history of the country.
Okay.
What I mean by the history of the country is like when we were campaigning for UPND, our country was like in the worst situation ever. In 2021, the inflation was the highest. It was like 22% inflation rate. So for me, I expected this new dawn to hit the ground running. You know, like you are coming. It's like you are a patient. A patient is brought on a deathbed. That's how Zambia was when you don't took over government. You know, we were a patient, which is just actually like terminally ill, if I can say that, to use an example that anyone can relate to.
Yeah.
So looking at the history, we expected this new dawn to hit the ground running in all aspects of
Okay.
the Zambia. Economy was down, you know, living conditions, everything. Hospitals, infrastructure, the roads are still down. So for me, I'm looking at a wholesome picture of where our lives as Zambians have been like, we have been neglected, and we were looking to HH to come and improve the situation, to hit the ground running. And what have we got from that? Like, my story is just one of the stories. You know, my stories is just one of the stories of heartbreak and disappointment from New Dawn. Me being a human rights consultant, I cannot afford to sit on information. I cannot afford to cheerlead wrong things because of what I am. If I don't speak, more people will continue to die and perish under the hands of different governments that have been ruling Zambia and coming and going. We are seeing the same trends of neglecting the people. The Zambian people are neglected, and that is a fact.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much. So, something is quite crystal clear here. You're not bitter because you dislike this president. You're bitter because this government promised so much. Perhaps they overpromised. They said, as we get into government, we're going to change everything. So you were very expectant. Okay. So it's not because they haven't performed, because 18 months, come on, this is a country that was in dire on ICU. So for us to expect a miraculous, even Jesus turned water into wine and all that, but for a human being, there's got to be a little bit of time required to sort things out. Right, Mama Chikamonika has joined us. Can you hear us? She has disappeared again. Her network is quite interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we've established that fact. Now, let's move on to some of your political ideologies. So, apart from that fact, which I think it's quite fixable, your pension, if it's paid, and my suspicion is because they are paying in batches, my suspicion is at some point your number will come up like lottery numbers and you will get what is due to you. And do you think once you get your money, you'll be quite content?
I'll be content as I've received my pension that I've worked for. But my receiving the pension has got nothing to do with my views about New Dawn governing this country. It's two separate things.
Okay.
Mine is just I'm just one person. I am just one person versus 20 million Zambians who are being load shedded for 12 hours. I am just one person versus 12 million Zambians who are buying mealie meal at 200, over 200 kwacha because this government decided to export mealie meal. I am one person besides how many Zambians who are going to the hospitals without medication,
Hmm.
And there are also like so many suppliers who have not been paid
Hmm.
because they supplied goods in the PF era.
Yeah.
We all know that the situation in Zambia is in a grind. There is no money in circulation.
And do you know why that is?
You tell me. This is what we are expecting. Like we have a minister of information, minister of finance. Like when people cry and talk, these
Hmm.
people are supposed to come and explain to people, but there's like a communication break.
Okay. Now that's a very
Everybody is
important.
just like speculating,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah, and that's the dangerous bit because you are very ferocious in your criticism, and listening to you, you're very hurt, you're very passionate, and it's just because you don't have the facts. If you had the facts, like most Zambians, you would be quite content. You would know that this country was left in a dire situation. There's no money, and this government is trying its best to try and make things happen economically. Obviously, Ministry of Health, there's quite a lot of crazy stuff going on there, but they are doing their best to try and change procurement processes and all that. But the fact that that information is not being trickled down to you, to the public, and to everyone else who's in the little villages, that is mainly your problem, isn't it?
It's everybody's problem. If you go on social media, everybody's complaining.
Mm.
So every government has to share information, they have to communicate. We are living in a digital age
Mm. So if
where
you don't communicate, then people can misinterpret things. Like you would be complaining about something, and yet it's not the actual truth. It's just that you don't have the right information, isn't it?
which is this is what has happened to some of the critical situations in the world is because of lack of information.
Mm.
You know, when you are lacking information, when you are not sharing people, and if you have a family, if you are
Yeah,
in a crisis or if your kid tells you, I want shoes, right?
yeah,
If you don't have money to buy shoes, you should explain to your kid. You can't be mute and
yeah.
know that but after 2 months, you know that in your head, but you don't tell your child. We are
Mm.
talking, we are talking about 20 million people. So
Yeah.
if information is not shared, how do you expect people to be content that the right thing is happening?
So people are discontented not because they hate the president, not because they hate the government. It's
Nobody
because
hates
not,
HH. I
not
think this
because.
whole thing of saying people hate HH is like to blown out of proportion. I
Yeah.
don't know HH. Why should I hate him?
Mm. It's just because
He's
you
just
don't have the right
he's the
information.
president and his cabinet is non-functional. Like if you look now, who is talking?
Mm. Tabu Kawana is talking. You've got the presidential spokesperson talking. You've got the deputy SG. Are you not content with that? Who do you want to be speaking? You've got Honorable Muitwa talking. Who do you want to be talking?
It's also like they're talking like, what are they talking about? Like talk about the things that I've said that I talked about. Give an
Mm.
example of one topic I've talked about and tell me what those people have said about it.
Okay, we can talk about the price of milli meal, maybe
Yeah.
the fertilizer inputs. That has been exhausted quite a bit. And there's just obviously latest information that just came up. Things are going tickety-boo, as the British call it. It has taken them a while to find their feet. So maybe there are some people who are misplaced in their positions. And frustratingly enough, it makes people like yourself and others frustrated because they're not getting the right information. And when you don't have the right information, you have room to speculate. And when you speculate, you become frustrated. And you become frustrated, that frustration becomes infectious. You've got a large following, you're frustrated, and your followers are getting more frustrated because you're frustrated. And yet, your frustration is as a result of not having the right information, not because this government is doing the wrong things. Is it not?
I think you are wrong there.
Okay.
Okay, so if you see, if the situation, if they were campaigning, right? They were promising fertilizer, mkalashta parishinga. And what is actually happening now? Fertilizer is how much?
18 months, though. Let's look at, you have lived in
No, we
diaspora
are
for a
looking
long
at the
time.
campaign promises, Linda.
Again, this
Don't
is where
talk
the
about, they need to own it.
yeah.
If you make a promise, own it. You cannot make a promise to say, mukalashta fertilizer pari so much.
You didn't know time frame.
Fertilizer pari 1,000. People are sharing fertilizer, and then you accuse people for being frustrated.
No, you
You
called
are not
yourself
being fair.
frustrated. No one accusing you of frustrated. You called yourself frustrated. Let's get that
Yeah,
clear.
because I'm not frustrated because of their lies.
Yeah, yeah.
You get frustrated when someone lies, mukalashta fertilizer pari so much.
So, okay. So
So you
is
are
this
frustrated.
sure? Is this over promising or actually lying?
I don't know. You can get detail in the terminology, whether it's a lie or over promising, I don't know. But the fact is, mukashita ubunga pari 50 kwacha, ubunga 200 kwacha. What is that?
Did they set the time frame? Like after 18 months, mukashitobunga mlitu pari
They
less.
can play a video where the HK president himself was saying 14 hours in Gayakwana, jet to kashitisha, dollar ikabwera pari so much. I've forgotten all those things.
No, that was the dollar actually. That video was about the currency. And the currency, as soon as he became president, here on the London Stock Exchange, we were watching, literally timing everything. And that was that was factual. That's
So
confident.
it dropped, but now where is it?
Mm.
And now let's talk about, we have talked about fertilizer. He was saying, and I started load shedding in Kapwan. Where is load shedding today? It's 12 hours. So you tell me, are you happy with that? And you see why people are frustrated? So it's not just being frustrated, it's things which are happening. And then if you make a promise and fail to deliver, take ownership of it. Come to the people.
What do you think the government needs to do to make you happy? Someone like you who was so passionate, and it's such a shame for these governments that you had passionate people like yourself and everybody else, and you have given up because you are not getting the information that you need. What do you think this government needs to do to win your love back?
At this point, I don't think they can do anything really, because the youths come crying to my inbox. And when the youths come crying to my inbox, what do you want me to do? I am a mother, you know? They tell me everything. They empty everything to me. You know?
So now it's past your pension. Now you're becoming more of a mother. Ama youths
Don't you see, they all call me mother, and I tell them to say anyone under 30 years old, Mudivana. Zambia's population is a young population. 70% of the Zambians, they are under 25 years old. And then most of the people who are my age, they are civil servants.
Yeah. Now,
and
how would you feel? Yeah. Go on.
And then there's this notion to say civil servants cannot participate in politics, which is wrong. Another fake news, another way of oppressing people. Because in the Zambian constitution, every Zambian is entitled to participate in politics. The only cap is when you want to run for active policy, active politics. So this thing at Chambile, they have put this fake news on civil servants to say civil servants cannot participate. People are being disciplined and transferred because they made a comment on a topic.
This is fascinating. You have so many grievances, and none of them are appearing to me like they should be laid on the feet of this new baby government. So that has been going on since.
I think you are a supporter of this new baby government, which campaign for change, right?
Yeah, since MMD, since the Patriotic Front from President Sata, then President Edgar Chagwa Lungu. Now this government has inherited all this, and perhaps this is why they are trying to repeal some of these draconian kind of regulations and policies. This is quite fascinating. Now, let's move on to something else. Management of this government, the ministers, the people that the president has put in place to help him actualize this vision. Are you content with them?
Honestly, I cannot question the president's appointments. That is his call. But all I can say is there has been a lot of people asking the president to fire some of these ministers.
Okay.
So it is his call. The president has the power to hire and fire. And if he decides to keep people who are not performing, that is his baby.
Are you content with the people that are in different ministries at the moment as a Zambian citizen?
I think me personally, I am not, because if the president had a functioning cabinet, things will be different in Zambia right now.
Which ministries upset you the most?
You know, for example, social services. Social services is like that one is a thorn in my flesh because of the street kids. You know, they're vulnerable, they're disabled. They are paying people 200 kwacha a month when meal meal is 200 kwacha. How can people survive? The president campaigned against Pamela. So now people are back to living on Pamela to survive because umuntu amfundisha 200 kwacha. How can they buy a bag of mini meal? People are surviving on Pamela. Social services, Ministry of Mines, they have continued giving licenses to foreigners.
Okay. Mama Chikamoneka, welcome back. Hold that thought.
It's a lot. Like everything is like, I don't know. Like some of these things, it was supposed to be radical change. You see things changing right there and then. But we are going on 2 years. We think the reason come.
Okay, thank you very much. Mama Chikamoneka, welcome back. Are you there?
Thank you. Yes, I'm here. Hello?
Okay. I'm quite remember.
I am a stream, network fast internet.
Okay, na mom leo fika fast so akanova kwete fast internet ile mfika fast nomba mama chikamoneka nam kwata breaking news. We wanted to have a few minutes prior to this, but network yami pesha. You've got breaking news. You've got some fantastic news to share with the people of Zambia.
That's why I want you to pay for me to and people are waiting there.
Okay, all right then. If you can wait there, then after we've done with Queen Mpumi, we'll try and do that.
Switch over,
And switch over. Okay, thank you so much, Mama Chikamoneka. I'll let her save her bundles because I know bundles in Zambia is a big thing, but for us, it is what it is. Right, carry on with your sentiments. We have been joined by Chandanonde and Waliet Senga. Speech Friday Chikwale. Please ask your questions, send your comments based on what we're talking about. Oscar Pombo from Italy, one of our family members and regular followers, and I have seen him on your program as well, which is fantastic. These are patriotic Zambians, very passionate. Now, we were talking about
The ministries.
the ministries, people who are in governance. And if you have just joined us, welcome to the Linda Banks Show. And I have been joined by Queen Pumule. That is a Lozi name, isn't it? And we're
Umulo, yes.
discussing. Yeah,
Mhm.
Pumulo. We're discussing the United Party for National Development. Is the UPND's governance all that it's cracked up to be? People were seduced. People feel seduced. They fell in love. Queen Pumi herself was in love with the UPND, like many people. And suddenly, this love affair ended so prematurely. Now we're trying to dissect as to what has gone so horribly wrong, if at all anything has. I personally, based on what she has said, I think these are some of the things that are easily fixable based on the right communication, a bit like in a relationship. Mwamba fyo kuchita communicate, disseminate information, and misunderstandings stop happening. Now, we were talking about ministries. So you are a bit frustrated with a few ministries, yes? Mines, contracts, you have been so passionate about this. What makes you think that this government is selling our national assets? It's bidding the family silver to the highest bidder.
First of all, the first thing is the tax breaks. They gave tax breaks and tax holidays to minors. This is the one of the first things they did when they came into power. So that's basically tax evasion. They are abating these multinational organizations to evade tax. If you remember, sometime last year, here in the United States, these companies, some of them, they are based here in the United States, they were taken to court and they were fined. For crimes they were committing in Africa, these companies were fined here in the United States. Zambia was not one of them, but Congo is one of those countries cited in that legal suit where these multinational organizations are paying billions of dollars to the US Treasury for tax evasion. So this is why this is not sitting well with me, where a government just comes in, they give tax holiday and tax breaks. Now, Zambia right now is a blessed country. Like I sit and my body, I shiver. I'm like, when Alessa, Aditemwa Zambia. Because the minerals that are being found in Zambia now, they are a hot cake. They are a hot cake globally. You don't even need to give an incentive to anyone because there is high demand.
Yeah.
And the minerals that are being found now, they are trading on the highest prices on the London Metal Exchange.
Yeah.
So the law of supply and demand should apply.
That is that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is really true, actually. We were having this discussion with some political lecturers at my learning institution, and they were talking about cobalt. Without Congo and Zambia, we're doomed.
Yeah.
As Britain, I'm not saying doomed as Zambia or Africa or whatever, but as Europe, because you're trying to create, for instance, a meal. You are missing that key ingredient. And Zambia possesses that key ingredient.
Yeah.
And not just like a small chunk of possession,
Yeah.
second largest possession.
70%.
So, I know. It's like
of the world cobalt reserves are in Zambia.
They're in Zambia. So we had this conversation. How is your country? They were asking me this, and I'm thinking, I'm not an economist. I'm a journalist and an educator, yes, but I know a few things. How is your country considered poor? And I was like, I don't know.
That is why I'm bitter. You know, it's like very bitterness. And you now start adding these things where I'm saying there's no medicine in the hospital. I was in Lusaka in September. I almost had my back dislocate because we drove from Lusaka to Mufrila. The road is so bad. And you see these trucks taking out our wealth. So you tell me, like, if you're a well-meaning Zambian, you have a commodity, a hot cake. And you have a government which just comes in and gives people who are rich a tax holiday and tax incentive when our
Now,
people are dying. Our
do
youths are just begging me for 100 kwacha. Madam, mtu mwingine niko 100 kwacha. We
now, do
are
you
sitting
think?
with $1 million reserves.
Yeah. Do you think that your sentiments are factual? That the government is giving tax holidays?
It is there. The other thing which is factual is the first quantum mine. The first quantum mine they were negotiating. I think there is a mine which they have put under royalty. They are going to receive royalty tax of 3%. You know, some of these things that I know, it's people who are non-Zambian who come to me and give me the information, and I go online and find this information. It's online.
Now, this is the thing. We had a program with Mr. Mutwale, and he talked about how ZCCM, this royalty that you're talking about, I don't know if you
Yeah.
heard that program. And I think, personally, I could be wrong, but I'm confident that it's because of lack of correct information being disseminated to our people is what is causing this crazy kind of frustration, because everyone is just thinking, "Bale, these foreigners are coming to steal our money," because we're not explaining it well. Where has communication gone so wrong?
Linda, let me correct you on that one. This is actually giving away Zambian wealth for free. This UPN, they said receive royalty at 3%. Now, this is a first quantum company. They were negotiating with two companies, one Zambian company and one company in South America, I think it's Chile. So they offered the same benefit, the same compensation, or whatever they call it. They offered to both Zambia and Chile. The company in South America refused.
And it's kind of similar. Chile is a bit
They
similar.
refused and demanded 51% ownership of the mine, among other things. But Zambia, we settled for that, and then they have locked in so many years. Now copper is the oil of the future. So how are you locking in to receive a royalty of 3% from whatever they sell when they are making millions from that?
Okay. We have got Anik Matipa who's saying, of course, we know about tax holidays. Linda, get real. Now, look, it's not my place to get real. It's my place to ask the right questions. Some questions may seem not real to you, but these are questions that are on the lips of Zambians. And it's up to you, Anik Matipa, to get real with your government. I will ask any questions that comes through our viewers. So for you, just do the due diligence, make sure that your government tells you the things that you need to know, and do a bit of research. Don't always be expectant. Yes, the government has got the obligation to tell you what they're up to and how things are going, but you need also to roll your sleeves and find out the real information. Like Queen Pumi has just said, all this stuff is readily available. So when you say get real, what do you mean by that? I have to ask the questions. You may not like them, but these are the questions that are on the lips of the Zambian people. Mama Chikamonika, is your internet playing ball? Epo Muri?
Yeah, the connection is bad. So let's just try Facebook. And then, I just wanted to say that we are living in a day and age where information is available. You cannot lie to the people. I know that this government, they were told to say, just lie to the Zambians to get your vote.
Who told this government to lie to the Zambians?
I'm not going to mention names, but we all know.
The papa said that?
No, I'm not going to say a name, but we all know that this government to say you have to practice African politics and lie to the people to get the vote. But the day of practicing politics of lies, that ship sailed long time ago with the coming in of social media. Governments cannot regulate the sharing of information. Information is shared freely. You saw in the past where TV stations were being closed, radio stations were being closed, because they wanted to censor information, and also government wanted to control what people are hearing. But now these governments, they cannot control what people are hearing.
But this government is telling you to speak. This government is telling you to speak, is it not? They would argue that we're telling you to speak.
Pages. Why are they deleting people's pages? Why did those cadres make Batu Shambala apologize or to HH on their needs to our president? Why? We are seeing terrorism come in. And
Is
even
it the
you are
government?
saying, let me just say this train of thought before you come in. So you are saying I'm a critic of HH. It's actually healthy for people to have a divergent view in any country, because no one is speaking. No one is speaking. Today I was saying we have 24 political parties. What is happening to them? So if we are all saying kumbaya when things are going wrong, we have no medicines, they are load shedding the country for 12 hours, then what is that?
Okay, I'm glad you've moved on to political parties not speaking. It's moved me on quite nicely to my next question. I was going to ask you, because earlier on, you had a program where you were talking about this array of political parties who are not doing anything. And you mentioned them. You talked about Fred Membe. He's not saying anything. But Fred Membe had a bit of a win in these by-elections, I think. I'm not sure if you followed that. So they won quite a few seats, which was quite fascinating. So the Socialist Party, they're out and about having a good time. And you also talked about female-led political parties. Now, my question on that was, should political parties just be making noise just for the sake, even though they can see the economics, they can see that this government may not be fantastic at communicating its policies and its ideas or ideologies, but it's on the right path? Do you think they should just be making noise just for the sake?
So I think making noise is kind of not the right word.
Right. We seem to have been logged out for some strange reason. I have no idea. And Queen Pumi, if you can hear me, just join using the same link for some reason. And can I request for everyone to stop calling me on my mobile? Come on, you can see that I'm live. What is the point of calling me? Because it's disturbing the entire live. I've had like 32 people trying to call me, and you can see that I'm live on air. So it's really pointless. Please try not to do that because it disturbs the live. Queen Pumi has just joined. All these people trying to call me at the same time. What is the point in that? They can see that we are live, can't they? So the whole broadcast was disturbed. Apologies for that. But luckily enough, our followers have not disappeared. Carry on, please.
Yeah, so I think it's not noise. You say this noise, it's called checks and balances. So in every country, in every democracy, as you know, Zambia is a democracy, and we have 24 registered political parties. I think their relevance has to be seen in the country. If there's anything which is not right, they have to speak up. You have said, Freddie Membe, they are picking up momentum. It's not about winning the seats. It's about concern for the citizens, Even if they win the seats, if people are being load-shedded, they should be able to speak on that.
But most political parties are interested in winning seats and becoming prominent and obviously getting votes. Ultimately, that's what that matters. That's what.
Exactly. But I'm just saying that matters, but you have to be concerned about the livelihood of the people. How are the people living?
Yeah.
It's like people being load-shedded. There's no medicine, Mufipatala. Why are you not holding these people accountable?
Yeah.
The ruling party, Like we can't have 10 presidents on a ballot paper.
What's that about?
But we don't see their presence.
What is that about? Why are people so hell-bent about being presidents? We've got like a gazillion presidents and no one is being effective apart from maybe 2 or 3.
That's my whole point. It's like, actually in my life, I was like, ECZ, they need to change the laws to say if a political party is dormant. They are not doing anything. They should be disbanded. You know, we should not have a scene where we have 10, 20 political parties on a ballot paper. When it translates to speaking for the people, they are quiet. So are these people just looking for an opportunity to be in government,
And they
to serve
just,
themselves?
maybe they're just enjoying the freedom of belonging to a political party.
That's the whole case. It's like Zambia will not go forward if we entertain that.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
it's a democratic dispensation we're living in. So this government has given you the ability to belong to whatever political party you want.
it's
Where
not
the-
even this government, it's the Zambian constitution. You
yeah,
know,
but I think
and they also enjoy that.
it's been more prolific in this government where I remember you were saying the youths were intimidated and stuff, but you're talking, you're very critical, and there's nothing happening to you. Mama
Because
Chukwu-
when the youth could say some I am a mother. I'm like, really, are you kidding me? Like, what the hell? You know, they can't do it. They cannot do it. You know, they
Yeah.
can't imitate me. They are my sons, you know. But we are here to say, you know, these political parties, let us have a heart to make Zambia a better country. That is what it's all about. It's not
Okay.
about having a job title. I'm a president of a political party. So what?
Yeah.
How is that going to change the lives of Zambians? How is that going to take the kids off the streets? You know, these kids, youth, they are complaining, I haven't received my CDF. What are these presidents in opposition doing to give checks and balance to make sure that the money actually is funneled to the actual youths who need it? You know, there are so many things that they can do. Like yesterday, I was saying the president is like the oppas. The president is the head, and then they have many legs. The cabinet are the many legs of this octopus, and they have to work as a team.
Do you think
They
this
have to
cabinet
function.
is? Do you think this cabinet is worth for purpose?
You know what? I'm not really on the ground, but from what I see, like the information that I get, there is still a lot of work they need to do to fulfill their promises. That's the youths have gone really wild, singing all these crazy songs, making all these videos because they feel cheated and they feel lied to, you know. But this government, if it was sensitive to the plight of the masses, they can make some steps to ease the situation. I'll give you an example. Like even myself, you asked me to say, what can this government do to make you feel better about this relationship, which you campaign so hard for? One thing is this government, they don't care. They have hired people who tell people Fimba Upoke. For me, yeah. For me, let me just finish. They have hired people who are telling people Fimba Upoke if you complain. For me, you know, I am, I said this thing like a joke, but all the impact that I had, I didn't vote, but I took many votes. All the impact that I had, did I even receive one inbox message to say, thank you for your work? Zero up to now.
Okay.
No one has said it. Not even thank you. Not even all we recognize. Nothing. Zero.
Hold that
My
thought.
people on the ground, Banangomo, fight campaign in Avena. They go to these offices, they just look at them. Who are you?
Hold that thought, Queen Pumi. If someone from the UPND came to you and said, Queen Pumi, we have messed up. We got busy with the running of this country, trying to get things moving. We are committed to changing the people's lives. Obviously, load shedding is crazy. Do you know what? In England, yesterday, we had load shedding, believe it or not, but they phrase it so beautifully. We'll get to that, which is quite fascinating. The Brits are so good. They made it sound like really good, like people are saving money, but basically they cut off the power so that it could get pressure off the grids. But if the UPND came to you and said, we've been following and we've heard all this, and I'm sorry we messed up. There wasn't anyone specific to come and speak to you and say thank you. Would
There's
that be all
somebody
right?
specific. You know, they have a director media. The director of media, that is the
Which
role of that person.
There's so many media directors. Where? State House or the Ministry of
I
Information?
don't
Where?
know,
Which
whether
media
as a
director?
party, as a
Which one would
government,
you like?
I don't even want to, at this point, that ship sailed long time ago. For me, it's just courtesy. Like if somebody were to help me, I would just say thank you. Even if it's not, I didn't benefit. If somebody just put their time
How
out
would
there.
you like? You said if someone would help you, how would you like to be helped?
Like, I don't need to be helped at all in now, but I'm just saying in life, even if somebody opens a door for you as you are leaving a store, you say thank you, right?
Yeah.
It's common courtesy. It's not Simba or pocket. You know,
Yeah. Let's move to Fimbo Pocket. Yeah, Fimbo Pocket. Fimbo Pocket, you said this government is supporting and sort of crediting Fimbo Pocket. Do you think this government came up with Fimbo Pocket?
They didn't come up with it, but I saw the guy standing next to the president, and that Fimbo Pocket it's a hate speech. Fimbo Pocket is basically a hate speech. And
so by standing next to the president, it means the president endorses it in your mind.
Yeah. There's no way you can go and stand next to the way I campaigned for this party. I was not even accorded a VIP ticket.
Do you know what?
For the inauguration. Let me finish.
I wasn't.
Like I
wasn't either.
So the fact that I wasn't accorded, they did not recognize me. So those two boys to stand next to the president, they were recognized. They were invited to be there, to stand next to him. Because if you're not invited, if you're not recognized, you will not even be given the opportunity to stand next to the president. Because everything is calculated. There's security clearance, there's OP, you just don't walk up to a president. You need clearance.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. And if the UPND is listening, I think we need to be sensitive to the plight of the Zambian people. This is a genuine concern. And I hear you from the bottom of my heart. I can hear that sentiment. I may not agree with everything that you say. I may not agree with how you portray them. But because you feel you worked for this party, you didn't want an applause, you didn't want a position or whatever because you said you could have just done with, oh guys, well, kudos, well done. In the background, I've got my team. We've got Oscar Don Pombo, who is in Italy. We've got Enes Mukelevai, who has been poorly, but he is committed. I'm a taskmaster. He's been committed, doing work whilst he's feeling unwell. And we've got many others, Nikki in Zambia. None of us have been recognized for anything. No, the president has not said, oh, you guys, well done for this. You know, this is in the wee hours, and we've got 2 hours time difference. People are working non-stop. And my team will tell you that I'm a taskmaster. This is voluntary. So I completely hear your heart. And if I was you, on behalf of, I would say, if they're listening, someone should just say, guys, well done. Some people just need that. Oscar Pombo, welcome to the program. Mukelevai, welcome to the program. And I've
let me just my last comment, Linda, on that.
Sure.
I think it's just general courtesy to just say thank you. Like how many people were working in this campaign? How many? Steve and Matomola TV, very few people. You know? So I just think in life, it's just general courtesy to appreciate people. Just 4 words.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mukelevai, how are you, my brother?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, my apologies with my video.
No problem. Do not apologize.
I'm somewhere else. I'm not at home.
I know.
Yes. Kimanzi wani Pomolo.
Shangwe mtosifanye.
Tozande. Wompombo mchwani.
Carry on,
Anyway,
please.
I've heard your concern, my sister, and you have valid complaint, which is very clear, and we can tell that you are really hating because of the things that you went through, and especially with the issue that you stated earlier about the appointment of Nelly Moti, who was who took up your case. That you were supposed to be repatriated, or rather given money for your retirement, for early retirement, and almost 23 years ago, and to up to date, nothing seemed to have happened. We keep on hearing that you are still awaiting for your claims. Well, I don't know about the case myself, but I think if your matter was before the courts of law and the cases have been exhausted or still in court, I believe you will get your judgments, or if it's, I don't know how the case was tabled by the court, or tabled is as a criminal case or it was a civil case. And also there was an issue that I wanted to raise over the issue of statute of limitation. When you are pursuing a case, there are a certain period of time that is given where you can put up a claim unless the case is delayed by the court or it's in court. But if it's outside and you're still waiting for the matter to be resolved to date, 23 years down the line, you've heard the issue of justice delayed is justice denied. There is a limitation, and that could actually end up in tears in most cases. Like you said, the previous government, for 10 years have been in government, and your case was still pending, and they left office, and the matter still pending up to this time around. And then that's why you even feel a little bit sad to see the people that you supported, that were supposed to help you reclaim your payments, are appointed in strategic positions when you have cases against them. Well, in that aspect, I would advise you to, I don't know, to contact your lawyers. I don't know how far you've gone with your case, but bringing that and putting the blame onto the current government, I find it to be a little bit unfair, and I find your sentiments, which are concerned, which are valid, but I find it to be a little bit too early and premature, in a sense that this government, when they were entering into power, little did they know the extensive of the damage that this previous government did. Little did they know, had they had found everything in order, I think by now you and me will be smiling. But little did we know, and I know that there's some weaknesses in some areas, especially the issue that you've raised of communication. I think UPND has a very, very serious work to do when it comes to communication. They are still teething. They just entered into power. They've never been in government, but that shouldn't be an excuse.
Okay.
But the issue that I'm trying to say is that we gave HH and the New Dawn government a mandate of 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And within 5 years, if we don't see any development whatsoever, we, the Zambian people, you know that we are disciplinarian. You should ask Venelungu. Right now, Venelungu, they are busy whipping themselves or beating up themselves to say, why did we ignore this? So let us give time for these guys to fix these problems that they inherited. The inherited of these problems was not an easy task, I promise you. I believe they found a mess. But the only thing I'm agreeing with you is, my sister, Kiniti, they are not communicating to us. But we are in an information world. We are privy to certain sites which belongs to the government. But sometimes we choose to listen to the people who are dramatic, the people who are spreading propaganda, who are still hurting. And those are the people we choose to get information, unlike getting a source of information from the people in charge of the government. So
Thank,
let me rest there for now.
thank,
Otherwise, I hear you, my dear. You have valid cries and valid claims. You are right. But
thank you.
let's give them time. Nako.
Okay, thank you, Wamkelevai, and thank you so much for coming through. I know you are rather indisposed. Bo Oscar, welcome to the show. Thank you for your patience. You have been diligently waiting, like a leader you are. Please, air your views. Vapombo, it's your floor.
Can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Thank you very much. I could not hear Mr. Mukelevai, but
Don't worry.
thank you very much. Good evening to Linda Banks, Queen Pumi. Good evening, and thank you very much for a beautiful broadcast this evening. And I like, as well as you have alluded to, Linda Banks. I think Queen Pumi.
We have lost Vapombo, and Madam Mamachka Moneka is saying, go to my page. Some people are waiting. We've got a lot of people on this program as well. I'll ask you to make the executive decision. Do you hate people who speak the truth? It's Shinka Chilakaripa. Mamachka Moneka balela kana abantu ku sides.
Kuchumwana kana abantu pama social media. So I just want to respond to Mabokezeri Wamkelabai. Actually, Wamkelabai, you have my father's name. That is my father's name. I am Stumbeko Mkelabai. That is my name. So give me a one that. So I wonder, but you know what? Now we are at the level where it's at. We have time to give people time. We really don't.
Because come at the wrong time.
Yes. So what? We have 58 years. When 58 years of age, you are supposed to be planning for retirement. Everything is supposed to be in place. So what I'm saying is that we don't have the time to start telling any government that is coming to say, we take them out after. And this has been the Senate politics historically. We wait and then we vote to show politics. We are not to change governments. Get me right. For me, I am not here to see HH out of State House. I am here to see that HH and his government, they deliver. You know? We are not solving it.
Okay.
And we are not solving anything if we are changing government constantly. No. It's like a work in progress.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Hold that thought. That is a very critical point you have made, and I don't think you have made that in many platforms. We are not here to change government. We are here to make corrections. So you're not, your lamentations are not about changing government. You want the government to hear you and make sure that they make corrections. They do better.
They by their promises. Right now, we don't have any opposition. We don't have any credible opposition that we can say.
Okay, fantastic. So, government, UPND, if you're listening, people are not frustrated because they want to get rid of you. They want you to deliver.
We get rid of you and UPND maybe we form another political party without recycled politicians. Then I'll be all over that. But right now, we have a bunch of recycled politicians, which is Zambians. We don't want that.
Okay. If you were called tomorrow,
we went for HH because there is a clean slate.
Yeah, fantastic. You will, if you are called tomorrow, I saw you on the Linda Banks show, and we want to work with you. What would you say?
I can't work with this party the way the things are. I really can't fit in, and I will decline that offer. I really can't work with them because they have been colluded. I think the worst mistake that HH did is form an alliance at the point just before the election.
But you still supported
Upnd at this.
Queen Bumi, you still supported this government, this party, whilst it was with the alliance.
No, because the alliance came in at last minute.
And you had no choice but to just carry on supporting
We
it.
just like, you know what, we are doing today where we are damned if we are not damned whatever Valanda Shana has.
Okay. Now what are some of the things that you think this government has done well so far?
Well, I can say internationally it's brilliant.
Okay.
He has been brilliant on the international scene. Everything he's doing to set Zambia for a brighter future is just like, wow, it's brilliance.
Be specific.
All the deals that he's signing, I salute him, I give him credit. But charity begins at home.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever HH is doing, he's supposed to simultaneously on the global level, internationally, and domestic scene, we are supposed to balance the two. Right now, domestic scene is failing. People are crying, load shedding, these problems that we have domestically. Now imagine if we had a winning team, if HH had a winning team domestically, Zambia will be paradise.
So that's all it needs to do, have a winning team domestically.
Yes.
Zain Kavika says Alliance has no problem. The problem is with the president. Okay, be specific on that. Replying to Auntie Linda, I'm requesting to joining in. I have sent the link. We've got people on different platforms. This is confusing, Zambians. You see, why do we like this disorder? I love order. People waiting on the Facebook Live and they're sending hundreds of messages. And if we leave this live, we go to the Facebook Live, we might lose everything altogether. Now, type in your comment section below, what do you want to do? Do you want us to stay on this platform or go on the Facebook Live? Okay, because people are literally just split. I think Queen Pumi, you've got them used to the Facebook Live, but I live in the middle of nowhere, even though we've got 5G network, but because Mikumush, so it might be a little bit tricky trying to get people to join in. So abantu balelo are different thing. I'll try and go live on my phone and try and see.
Otherwise, we can just wind up this live and then maybe we wind this up so that if we don't make it, at least this will be over. And maybe tomorrow we can go live on Mama's page.
Okay, say that again. What did you say? Sorry?
I said, let's just wind this live so that if we are not successful on Mama's page, we can try tomorrow, same time.
Okay, I love the way you say tomorrow, as if everyone is going to be available. We are committed to our country, aren't we? Despite the long hours that we do. I know the long hours that you.
I just block out this time like this. There are certain hours of the day. This is my service to Zambia, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Okay, someone says stay on this platform, but do well done. Nice to see Mr. Mooks. Do we join in? We have sent you a link. Okay, some people are saying stay on this platform. I think we will try.
We are already here, so let's just continue.
Okay, Mama Chikamonika, we are live on the Facebook page. Do you know what? I have just discovered we have got Frida Chkwale. If you want to join on here, send invitation. We can do it simultaneously, technology. So, but those people who want to be on Facebook, I have gone live on my phone. Please just ask your question or request to join in and I'll bring you on. We can do it simultaneously. Technology. Mark Zuckerberg. This is fantastic. Okay, now, in terms of Aman and Ganama minerals, you are quite vocal about this. You feel the government is selling our family silver quite cheaply, and that is completely understandable. A lot of people feel that way, but again, I think situation here, lack of information. We have been joined by Mishek Kakonde. Let's hear his views. Mishek, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Linda. Good evening. And good evening to the Zambians out there listening to this wonderful program. And good evening to Pumulo and also Vomux and the other gentlemen. Yeah.
To Mez.
And, it's quite interesting, some of the points that have come out. I'll try to, say not to agree with some of the points that Pumulo has brought out. You say there's no opposition in Zambia. I find that statement a bit dangerous because, Zambia has always been built on tenets of democracy. When Wakaunda, Wakapwepwe, fought for our Ubuntungwa, they fought in such a way that, there must be, of course, other political parties. I know we were first, under one party state system under KK, but of course, due to pressure and the like, he was also forced to consent or sign into the existence of political parties. And I remember very well his sentiment or the words that he gave. It was very hard for him, to agree to other political parties. He said, of course, I am signing into, this law that, recognizes other political parties. I hope they can go out there and, do the right politics. I think that was what he gave. So I would wish to, disagree with my sister when she says there's no other political parties. UPND is just like other political parties. There's political parties as citizens first. There's political parties such as that of Fredman, the Socialist Party. Of course, ideologies do differ, and that in itself is good for for checks and balances in a country. But if we entertain this idea that there's no opposition party against UPND, I think that is not good for our country. And we wouldn't want to always go back to one party state system where you are told, oh, Valindo Okushita TV, the government has to come and check how much did you make, how much was the television. Of course, UPND made a lot of promises, and I agree with you also, Pumulo, to say they need to fulfill what they promised, and that is what politics is. Politics of truthfulness is what Zambia needs. Instead of politics, for lack of better terms, yamkachas, where you just wake up and say, we'll provide 10,000 jobs and the like. So as people, we must be able to, we must be inquisitive in, whatever promises politicians make.
Okay.
For instance, the president has just made another, flight to Senegal today. I find that, a bit too much, because when he was in opposition, he's found or quoted saying that, in court, he says that the office of the president must cut out foreign trips as the economy is in distress. And I think that's a situation. Then Zambians are complaining that load shedding, the economy, the kwacha keeps on, escalating at, So if the president can try maybe to delegate, he has a vice president, he has ministers of agriculture and the like. And if Mr. Mkleba says maybe communication is a problem, why don't they delegate? There's no way, a situation where the president of Zambia can always be the only one who's invited in all the meetings. What is State House doing? Don't they extend invitations to other leaders? So for me, I think I would not agree with the idea that there's no opposition political parties in Zambia.
Okay.
It's just the messaging that they need to improve on, and we cannot entertain a one-party state system. No.
Okay.
Actually, just to add on, Linda, just a few seconds, just to help you out on that one. I think if I heard Wopumoro very correctly, she did not literally say there's no opposition. No. What she implied, in my understanding, I don't know, you help me, my sister. What she meant was the opposition is weak, they're divisive. and they are not up to their game. Otherwise, yes, literally speaking, on paper, we have the opposition. You know how many they are. Some, they are just single-handedly with the zeros. Some, they are just troublemakers who are just trying to have more likes. So in that context, I understood her point. But otherwise, the opposition, yes, they are there. But doing what they are supposed to do, it's an issue. That's an issue where they are failing to come up with well-based issue.
Okay.
Instead, they capitalize on character assassination instead of dealing with real issues that are affecting our Zambian people today.
Thank you so much, Wamukilebe. And Queen Pumi, you had your hand up.
I think yes,
We are
yes,
pedagogists. We're used to the hand raising, aren't we?
yeah,
We like
yeah,
order.
yeah. So, but Mishek, I think you have answered the question in part. So, and then to add on to that, it's like, you know what, when I say there's no opposition, because I think these political leaders on the political scene, they are cut for them from the same thread, from the same cloth, you know. That's why we see UPND, they cannot remove the image of Blue. We have seen all these cases being dismissed twice. So that's why I'm saying we don't have any political opposition because they are the same. It's just musical chairs. He just comes out, UPND comes out, we are going through the same, circus again. That's what I mean, to be blunt. And somebody said, I'm scared today. What do you mean scared? Scared of what? There was a comment there saying that I'm scared. Scared of what?
Yeah.
Yes, it's just like, you have to be specific. Don't write something which is like just, ambiguous. Be specific so we can interact and share information. We are not kids anymore. Zambia has to reach a place where we have the tough conversations. We address the elephant in the room. We have to reach that level.
Absolutely, we do indeed. And I had told the viewers, please do be respectful in how we liaise with one another. It's important to have a political discourse with people who sit on the exact opposite spectrum of politics, and that is quite healthy. It's really important. Now, I've got my childhood friend, Chawezi Katwizi, who went to school together, which is quite weird. I don't know what it's doing here. Chawezi, what is your contribution? Please do that. Mama Matipa is trying to log on. Now, people who want to log on and get in touch, or you want to come on the live broadcast, I have gone live on my Facebook page. So please request to come on. And if you're having any problems, let me know. Just type in your comments. And if you have a question, please. We have someone approve. Sililo wants to join. Okay, so you've got options. So we are live on my Facebook page. Queen Pumi has shared the link on her Facebook page. Mamachka Monica, if you can hear us, I know you are struggling. Please keep trying. So either try the Facebook page or this Restream broadcast. Now, I want us to talk about, I know Mishek touched slightly on the trips, the presidential trips. Now, the president, when he was in opposition, he was quite critical. And he had some really funny memes, actually. One, he was looking up in the sky and he said, it's a bird, it's Lungu, or something along those lines. He was flying off again. Now, what are our views, apart from what Bamishek has already explained his thoughts on that? Womkelebai. Are these trips way too many? Zambia is broke after all. It costs quite an awful lot. Yes, he's not using the swanky jet to fly around, but it's still quite costly. Then he has to have the advance party, which is lean. We understand that. But what are your sentiments on that?
At least he's not flamboyant like the previous one that was rocking, like or living like a rock star on taxpayers' money and getting the chain of cadres on the plane and friends just to get just one deal, which is less than what what we've spent on traveling, we can tell that these trips for now they are quite important, especially when you look at the status of the country, the economy. We need international engagement. We need to engage. We need to link with others immediately so that we could come out of this shithole that these guys left us behind. We are
Apologies for that
currently,
language. We are not the
sorry,
BBC.
my apology.
We can't
I
bleep
mean,
in the too late. We can't bleep in live.
sorry, the dark hole. I
You
mean,
you are a liability.
no, sorry about that. It just
No,
came
sorry,
out wrong. It came out wrong.
it's fine.
The country, our economy has been in ICU ever since PF took over. This economy was destroyed in 10 years. Okay, maybe tubamfireko said within 3 years when Vasata was still alive, which the president was really for the people, for the poor. We could see Imisevo in Mukamwala Kulia and kuma places like Kuiskulilai, they were being tarred. And you could see that this person had the heart for the Zambian people. But immediately we brought in Wolungu. I don't know where we went wrong. Suddenly, we had in Congole, we had Kalova, we had a playboy in State House who could not who was portraying this humble picture to us, yet he was a big spender. They were inflated prices. The trips that were being made, we started as Zambian, we started asking. You know that we are a reactive society. We react when we see something is wrong. Just like now, when we see load shedding, we see fertilizer coming late, we start reacting. Why? Because we are reactive in nature and we are disciplinarian by nature. So
Okay.
we immediately, when the War Church came into power, he put it there to say, I want to market our country because our name, our country was among those people, the first country that even defaulted. Kunkongole kuli kaloba bachiri. Imagine the embarrassment. Meanwhile, Kushitana jet that cost almost 200 million.
Okay.
What is it for?
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. We'll come back to that. We have got Charity who's saying, Charity Gondwe, let's not talk of the past. Now, this is a big thing. The opposition,
How
particularly.
how can we proceed without? Sorry,
That's all right.
Swalelo.
That's okay. The opposition has been relentless from Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, from Honorable Chimba Kambwili, to Sean Tembo and everyone else in the Patriotic Front. Do not talk of the past. My sentiment is perhaps they're embarrassed, they're ashamed of the past. Now, how can you make headway without referring to the past? I'm passionate about history. Everyone who's been watching me for a long time, I always say that those who neglect to study history, they're bound to repeat it. It's imperative that we look at our past and look at how things went wrong and try not to repeat that past. It's inevitable that you will be alluding to it, but perhaps not focus too much on it. So when Charity says, let's not talk about the past, let's hush. No, we will talk about the past because this is what happened. How can we move on without referring to the past? So Charity, sorry about that. There was another viewer who actually said apologies because we need to have a healthy, sober political discourse. We may disagree, but let's be respectful. And I think that was on the sentiment of Pumi. Someone said she's very quiet today because she's on the link. No. Well, let's not go there. Let's be respectful and orderly. Mama,
I did not listen to that. It's
yes,
like
ma'am.
I'm not running the show. I'm a guest here. So I have to behave like a guest.
You know, aba abantu abakho bathi baneta bafundira ati nga waya kwa bene kwefe mukwamba fye okubwata
I have to behave like a guest. This is not my show. I don't want to be kicked out of this panel.
Oh, bless you. Thank you very much. Mama,
if anything, you are talking. So for them to say you are not talking, that's not
just
fair. Something else.
Yeah, that's not fair. Mama Chikamonika, welcome back. Gosh, Yes. Moisen Mkwai. Mkwai London.
Mkwai chawa sana pako. Mkwai nalanda kwa mashuhuri. Iwe muri mu diaspora. Ati ichibe changa ati umfwe mpundu wako shire pona. Umtu wa mwisamba ya mpundu. So inene wikuno kuzanga. Ne ule mona mafi. Aya le shingwa na Zambia. Ine. So ine wana la de shinka umpira ko. Kantu ichinka chatulengo kuma bantu. Ichi chakula pita bantu mbali. Echa alengera bantu bona. Bantu bashiruike na bakuti. Bashiruike na batuye mo. Bashiruike abantu bashalefa yo yantanshi. Abale kwale chalo cha Zambia uyanga. Ino Zambia ino chalo chimo icho na bantu tafiyo la. Icho mfilio kuishiwa cha kwa bati. Lesa ni opa ngeja. Lesa takapanga pona hii Zambia. Zambia ni inenda na mchimba balita kwa sababu ule lande chungu. Na kula nyama mchimba bantu affected. Ni bajaba batula. Bajaba ma 05. Upia 0. Upia mfota. Dia bakankala la. Bambe no Emirates. Bare puluka. Abala le vote. Achula. Ni bajaba voters. Achula. Ni bajaba lela ndicho chepe ya wino pere nyabai kala wino ayama shule ndaba linda bansa bakuni 10 na bonsa bali pakune mashu ayakankala ayakufika ku grassroots mwambie kusula abantu amatwi ndipo ya kanipani bwana ni Zambia ya libaba lies Zambia ya total
Mama Monica. Yeah.
No,
your network is really bad. Yeah. Lembi fumeni mo mubwele na futa abantu bale landa tabale myumfu, and these are important things that you are talking about, and it's
maybe
really,
she can use audio only.
yeah, I think Bonfian audio mama.
Video, yes.
For me and video. And someone, Emmanuel Sokonto, panelists, if you see a comment that tricks you, sort of intrigues you even, please make a comment on it. Emmanuel Sokonto says, the current regime, let's have a look at that. The current regime has not been able to deliver cheaper fuel, cheaper fertilizer, and the cost of living has skyrocketed. Surely it's coming to 2 years, and you're still talking President Lungu. Sure. Okay. This is not necessarily talking President, just like Bashta Sila talking about him, but the things that are happening are as a result of where we're coming from. So it's inevitable that every now and again we will allude to things that happened. I'm sorry you dislike this, but unfortunately this will happen. Now, and whatnot. Mama Chikamonika, can you try just without the video? Let's see. Can you try to speak? Let's see. I think that's better. Carry on, please.
Natotera. Bali abantu abavota mwana na mafia ayalekana mchalo chesu cha Zambia. Zambia bali kishiwa bamna nwokana isa bushabo. Kana mlima MP na ya conflict yabo. Bali state bali wela bali aba pele vote ni bali londo ya mchisungu bala bokutira. Kuyoko bale kuyaba twashusa chisungu. Aba ishaishu bali konsti. Aba tenda. Na mwani sepa tabalenga. Ama news offer. Ema voters. So I saw plan area governance ya UPND chali. Naramye bompwira kokutira governance ya UPND dairi bwino noshta. Tanlan wotira cha Zambia chali babandalized. Chali fantastic auto. Sana. Bika rusas. Ero bambio kumasa Zambia bare masa pano pano. No, bukumasa pano. Epo tuwalile yame na Zambia kutira ifo tabaisa. Tukachitefi tuwele ku grassroots. Ukuya londo ya wachibane. Tukasanga depo chili for now. No manga mwaikala bono abantu baba mona timbabs. Tabiye ni muma process. Mume bya bobe ne mas. Pense match pani. Pale ya londo ya abantu kutira ichicha Zambia. Chali baba na last. Ichalo cha Zambia bali na.
Okay.
Mama ela mambo masa.
Elo tuambo kumasa. Ichalo cha Zambia bali onaula. Nomba ichalo cha Zambia bali onawile ubu buteko obu buli 18 months in. How long do you think we should give them until tuambo kuchivivula?
Ubu buteko wa UPND. Ubu buteko wa UPND ngachakutira leo la grassroots. Kutipape for that is the if you land grassroots. Pantu kumishinka UPND yabile se paliba permanent secretary ba DC pia ku grassroots kwa UPND. Ito exshinka. Grassroots takwa UPND. UPND ambaye permanent secretary ba DC pia grassroots takwa. So pakuti bantu another 3 years. Where kubantu. Ino ye tell the president that ino 2023 ni ye ya kubomba ama tui ya fuyo ya grassroots amenso ya fuyo kulonesha ili ya MPs na ministers bale bomba ministers ushe bomba wino istapo ego ya Zambia bala temwa bantu abena Zambia bala temwa ba taimbe yupi popular. For we never see about they wanted to change Valinaka.
Mama Chikamoneka, please. Valinaka. Ina, I can hear you. Panelists, can you hear what Mama Chikamoneka is saying?
Yes, she's breaking, but we can hear.
Yeah, but we can get what she's saying.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Very
good point.
Very powerful submissions there. Now,
I love the last point.
Yeah, really important. Now, I want us to talk about appointments because so many of you have inundated me with messages on these appointments. Again, remember when we just started the program, we're talking about the phrases that us people love. We love throwing these phrases. But point and all that sort of jazz. Now, I received an email to start with. I think this was an article that was written by the whistleblower, and it's quite damning. Now, the people who have been mentioned are not here. So I just want us to discuss this generally. Our appointments. Mishek, I know you've been quite critical about this. So we've had, in the recent past, we've had the permanent secretary, who was an artist who has been appointed. Laura Meaty, prior to the permanent secretary being appointed. Then we've got ECZ. Take a peek. Do you think this government has got it right when it comes to these appointments? Is it fair? Is it equitable? Let's start with Mishek.
Thank you so much, Linda, for bringing this important and valid, discussion. There's always a question that that Barack Obama, if you follow geopolitics, he mentions to say, can one of the contenders in the previous elections like fly a plane. It does not mean that when someone has been doing so well in the civil society, then they can let's say lead a ministry or let's say a department. There are a lot of people that have been doing intangible cultural heritage components that I know of at the University of Zambia. I'll give you an example. The dean that was acting in 2019, Dean Humanities at the University of Zambia, Dr. Gankan Moyo, he's a very well advanced person in terms of cultural issues, and in fact he's even the one that has been working well with this musician. I've just forgotten the name, but they've been also inscribed as among the UNESCO heritage. So he's been doing quite a lot in terms of cultural issues. So for me, one thing that I've been against is President Hakainde Hichilema promised during elections to say, Mukamona Avante Tukara, Chita appoint, or you will see the people that I will be appointing. So it doesn't augur well when you give so much promises and hope. But if you look at the people that he's appointing, are these technocrats? The key word is technocrats. He said, I'll give you technocrats. So is Pilato a technocrat? Let's just face it. I don't want to even beat around the bush. Is Pilato a technocrat? That's the point. You get it. The Ministry of Youth and Sports is a very critical ministry. And, where you just say, oh, because Are Pange Chongo, you, Mleteni, and the like, it does not add up. And that's where I've always, been a proponent to say the Zambian political system, I think, is what fails us. There are political systems where for you just to be appointed, you really need to go under various vetting systems. It's not about, making noise for Walungu, making noise for, President Hichilema and the like. It's about also the history. Have you been working in the, the department? So, because that is very important. So I hope that moving forward, President Hakainde Hichilema can, stick to the promise that he gave of appointing technocrats or people that, at least have, the history of working in a certain department.
Okay, and he also mentioned it won't matter where you're from. You could be from Shangombo. You don't have to know anyone at State House or whatever. As long as you're a Zambian, you're competent, you're qualified, you would be appointed. Queen Pumi, are you satisfied with the appointment process? Queen Pumi, are you there? She seemed to have hung. Viewers, follow the questioning. If you feel satisfied with the way the appointment process is going, please let us know. If not, kindly indicate as to why you are not. Mama Chikamonika, abantu balesala positions. Namsekelamo?
Positions. Positions pela abantu teve kuyokuba ineneka ke kwanga tipanda vampela position ishasekelamo because vaisapela abantu ama position baba ikelete edi abana beswa basambira bamo bale kumwa bali bambi baya pela abantu babi naba ikele baba le tukeshi bani babi naba le tukeshi ebo baba position zo bapela bali abale ko tufuo na tabiri baba bwesha bakapo kama salads ebo no bali abale tutampena bena baba posa mwaya twali balinda.
Okay, now let's have a quick look at some of what our friends are saying. We've got Sililo saying things are bad, Linda. Oh, and we have been joined by somebody. Mama, can you introduce yourself? First of all, Sililo says, how many trips has the president made? high cost in the country. Okay, Basililo, we'll come to your question. Mama, introduce yourself, please. Welcome to the program. Hi. Can you hear me?
Thank you, Mama Linda. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. I think I'll put this that side. I don't know if you can see her. Carry on, please. Yep.
Sincerely for adding me onto this program. I am and I'm a very big critic and I'm a very big appreciator the government in seeing that the people of Zambia
Mlaumfa?
Again, I wish to ask you, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Most, apart from thanking you sincerely, I would like to keep it at this.
Ako lang din mo quite Mama Matpa I think network is really bad. Mishek, pick it up.
Thank you so much, Linda. And thank you, because there's a thought that I was holding on. Yeah, so I was saying, aspects to do with, appointments. The president really needs to ensure that he does not appoint his cronies, for a lack of a better term, or loyalists. But because Pange Chongo, mu civil society, he brings them and gives them position. That's not how a country should run. A country should run based on technocrats. You can't tell me, Linda, that there are no people that have been, doing a lot of issues to do with, culture and, cultural, intangible aspects. There are a lot of people that are technocrats. So why not use people who are technocrats? The president should not appoint loyalists. There are people that are idolizing a president. And for me, I'm not, I've always been, a proponent of against having, a society that, idolizes, a president is just a person like us, Linda, and they're supposed to be, a servant to the people. So it's the people that have got, the power to even control, what the president does. If the Zambians say the president is traveling so much, he has to listen to the Zambians because they're the ones that voted and gave him, the right to sit in plot 1. Okay. So the other thing that I wish, President Hakainde Hichilema, should fulfill is the component of, him fulfilling, various missions. He's been saying, no, we are pushing for an agenda that is economic diplomats. How do you attain economic diplomats if you do not have diplomats, let's say, in big countries such as China? China is a big political player in geopolitics. You can't tell me that you'd be waiting for almost 2 years now to appoint an ambassador to China. What are you doing?
Do you think that will stifle the relationship between China and I nearly said the United Kingdom and Zambia?
Well, as a political scientist, I'll tell you that it is always important to strike a balance on how you trend with China and also America. Because the situation that you might have is, a one-sided story. And I think that is not a good side. Zambia has always, held a situation where it balances. Even during the times of, Keke, Chiluba, you could talk of Manawasa, Rupia. There's always been a balance between these two, states. So I fear for the UPND that they might end up, maybe being kicked out by the people and failing to even, finish their appointments in terms of missions. The best is the president should be able to, not waste and dilly-dally over appointments. They've been in power for so long. There's no way you can be failing to know who's supposed to, go in missions.
Do you think that is the reason they're failing to know who should go in these missions? Quite a lot of them.
We shall start to speculate, Linda. It's
That's
like for how long is he going to wait? He keeps on saying that he wants economical diplomats. And you'd find that he's flying, he goes to the UAE, in the Middle East and the like. You'd find that the person who's there, I was looking at the picture. The guy that welcomed him in the United Arab Emirates is this ambassador was appointed for Saudi Arabia. You can check the pictures, you would understand. Yeah. So what I feel is that the Upnd should move as fast as possible and try to, clean up the system. That was, of course, under, the PF, a regime that was made with so much violence and the insults for women.
Okay. I hold that thought, Mishek. You have said quite a lot of things. So the president should hurry up and appoint the right people, diplomats in these missions to keep
it's almost 2 years, Linda. 5 years irenda bwangu, and you cannot tell. Zambians might just change and have another person. Zambia is not lack of leaders. There are a lot of leaders.
Okay, but when Mpumi that we are not prepared to change government, and we're not advocating for a change of government. We're just fed up of not being taught the truth, not being communicated to.
She's not prepared, not I personally, and I'm sure others.
Yeah, that's fine. Now, the point I want to get to is, obviously, this government has been saying that there's very little in the kitty, in the purse. So perhaps they could be waiting for these contracts of these diplomats to just naturally run out and then swap them so that there's no extra financial burden. Now, Mama Chikamuneka, Ababa, what you understanding pari abantu abaleya mukubomba kufyalo efyapusana ma diplomats?
Aba bantu abaleya mukubomba kufyalo efyapusana umufya baleya tabafuile fyo kwisabu lo muntu nayikala tiyo abantu bajana labaresha pameso ngashibapele so mpata abantu so bafika kula abantu abale bombe nchiko mulya msyalo sale no tukulo muntu aya fya ngapya posing aba posile je ama posing yeka taya mchalo chabe naye atoe pana kufijinga fya balema alete muzambia munomba hospital ma bedi ifya dola fingi baya kupozinga fya kulya ama phone na selfie na kuma beach na neti aleti tako so the president wa feel kwa very ama red card ya fighter na ama yellow card ya fighter apecha lo tusikile na pashupa Zambia ni nyeba kutila hii cabinet ya party football team cabinet ya party football team aba mona ma mistake explain ya bola mchibasa ni ba yama tebas ba ya others ba yama le bola ba mona patibete ya wino FTU ba UPND abo batu mfya bafiro kubachecheta no wino kusho umuntu kwamo aya wombe mwimechi bambi bafiro no kwishima bena Zambia ba mu UK bambi bafiro Zambia kwishima ba ku India dai shima bena Zambia ba India bali tumakuchana kumbe afro kwishima Zambia zifanana ale kwa fienda mesha apa ya bantu isuka tema ya bena Zambia ba unda awe be careful umuntu wamuno chalo chimbi eko na pera.
Okay, thank you very much, Queen Mpumi. Diplomatic, yes.
I want to comment
diplomatic
on
appointments.
I know, but there's something that you said. I think it's not what I meant. What I meant was we are not here to ensure to take HH out of government. We are here to provide checks and balances for a better Zambia. But as my brother Mishek said there, we are not short of leaders. Zambia, we are a very urbanized country with a lot of highly educated individuals. But we are seeing politics of and appointments of appeasement, which was something the HH campaigned against. We are not seeing any technocrats. We are seeing people who are behaving like clowns in foreign missions. It is not right. Somebody and a diplomat on social media, they are sticking his tongue out. Like there is a time and a place. You have to behave appropriately. Like me, I'm a guest here. Even my demeanor is different because I am a guest.
Mm.
And then the other thing about this, I wanted to talk about these diplomatic appointments. Again, I'll talk as a woman. Like we are seeing that women are being sidelined again. You know, women are sidelined. Zambia population majority is the women. But in all of this, you don't HH's appointment, we have less than 10% women representation. When the women as a higher population in Zambia, what is that? So these politicians are just going to use women to campaign for them, to sing and chant for them. And for me, I get attacked here. When I talk, I wanted an appointment. Excuse you. You don't know me.
Yeah.
Even if I want an appointment, so what? You know, women are insulted and put in a corner and just like, you know, they are bullied into silence. That's the thing. UPND has keyboard gangsters or keyboard mafias who are already attacking women and silencing them into silence. But you will not silence me.
Thank you very much.
I will have it coming. If you think you will silence me, watch this space.
Thank you very much, Queen Pumi, on that point. It's quite fascinating how Zambians, I think it's a good thing that the UPND has brought the awareness that they can sort of embed many women into these positions. I was having a candid conversation with a Zimbabwean friend of mine yesterday, and she's a politician. She lives here. And she looked at the different positions. We were having a conversation about the UPND and what it's done so far, and pointed out quite a few women. She was talking about Princess Kansune and Minister of Information, Minister of Health. And she said to me, gosh, your government has got so many women and quite a lot of young women, but it's quite refreshing that us as a people, we think that's not quite enough. And that's really good. It's a good thing to actually want more of what we can have. And we know that this government can do better. And this is where I agree with you, Queen Bumi, where you're saying that we have to provide checks and balances. That's really quite critical. Now, close this topic for us, please. Appointments. Are you content with the way appointments are being done? And also, are you confident that this team that the president has appointed, they're going to help him? Because ultimately, we want people who will help him bring his vision to life. Yeah. So are you happy with the team that he has assembled?
Well, it's not just his vision alone. It's the vision for the people of Zambia. You know, that's where most of our politics, that's where we go wrong. We start praising the president's vision and methods and to compare to the things that we, the Zambian people, want, our own, what our needs, what is it that we want. Yes, we don't want, I can tell that HH and the administration don't want to go back to the PF way of appointing people, where you appoint only people that are affiliated to your own political party. And we saw what happened. We saw the ministries being destroyed. We saw the way, the manner, the working culture, the way it was. There was just chipante. You know why? Because people that were selected in a strategic position were just nominated, were just handpicked, just because they belong to. So I thought maybe HH wanted to come up with a different approach where he appoints people on merit and they appoint qualified people, not giving favors, because and that's where the conflicts of interest is coming in. The political party where HH came from and other ministers, And most of their members who are well vested and well qualified are sidelined. They are not given position, and they feel left out or abandoned. And that's why today in UPND, the grassroots, they are complaining. There are many members of the opposite of the ruling party that are still right now those who suffered a lot for the political for their party to death. They are still wallowing under abject poverty. Why?
Okay.
Because they feel they have been sidelined.
Okay.
And then suddenly they see their own leader goes and wake up somebody who was just sleeping just because that somebody had a lot of credentials of education on the wall. And that's what he thinks this person will be the right candidate for the positions. And
Okay.
guess what? When we go back to Bosata, remember Bosata when he said, you, the educated people, they're the most coward people. This is what has happened. There's too much aircon in their offices. They are failing. They're so comfortable. They
Thank
feel that their education now is yielding their dividends, and they are more relaxed. They are not going to engage their people, the people that they trust, the people that entrusted them, that helped them to be elevated where they are, the grassroots. They are still struggling up to now. And that's why most of their members, they anticipated for position or even just change
Yeah. Okay.
of favors to be
Thank you.
favored by their.
Favors. Favors, interesting phrase, favors. Now,
Yeah, I mean,
as a people,
ati wako ni wako, and they are
welcome
scared
wako.
to.
But
They're scared to copy by PF
okay,
because
thank you.
ngawalanda ti ba PF, then they'll call them hypocrites.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, favors. Aren't we encouraging this kind of sense of self-entitlement? We have got so many comments on my Facebook page. Someone wants to join in. Anik, I've sent the link on this platform, as well as if you want to join on the Facebook.
But Bolinda,
Just a
Bola,
second. Sorry, Wamukelebai, just a
Bola
second.
in 90 minutes.
Okay, thank you. So many comments coming in, and someone is talking about a dress. Is that a dress? It looks nice. Now, let me just comment on this. And this is where, as a people, we go so horribly wrong. You are thinking of a dress. Apo muikele, dimbita amalaita mwachkwata, abana tabarile, tabakwetene fya kusenda ku school mile. You are talking about, and we were talking about women in politics, and this is what discourages women getting involved in politics. You objectify women, and it's absolutely ridiculous. I'm sorry, I'm going to call you out, Florian. I'm going to put you up here so that I hope you will be ashamed of the comments that you have just made, because it's absolutely ridiculous and demeaning. And I think perhaps I could just go a bit further and just block you. You objectify women. You're looking at all the. You have not commented on Mishek's shirt, for instance. The beard. Mishek has got a very dapper beard. Why haven't you commented on that? Which is it's ridiculous. I think we need to start calling these things out. Please do not do that, especially not on this platform, because unfortunately you just be blocked. Anik says he has sent a request. I can't see the request. Try and join using the link, please. If you can join using the link, that would be amazing. So these appointments have been quite cumbersome. Now, Mama Chikamonika, therefore Mlande Kopanono, objectifying women who want to get into politics. And again, Queen Pumi as a woman. Now, it's amazing how many solicitations of joining something or another that come in. Ama parties, diaspora, kudiyama political parties, ayambile, and people want to stand in 2026. And there has been solicitation, come and join as a VIP, spokesperson, and God knows what else. What do you think discourages women to get into politics? You were actually castigating Savoy, that Savoy has been quiet, Queen Mpumi. You were saying, but she's one of those women who is always kind of castigated. Sometimes she says things that rub people the wrong way. Do you think this party in government has laid up a good foundation for women to take part in politics? Mama Chikamuni.
natotela sana mkwai ushemwa ishe chilenga sana bana mayo kukana chita participate sana na politics nangula ukwimini tila venga bashani balani ulandu wakutila abo ishokutila na mayo wawasabila ngayingira ma politics ala yasangu kechilende bakuti bamu appointment letter na bakuchita doctor muno mchalo tuta Zambia ama doctor nyadishu doctor certificate kano fye baye kuli mutokota eba abapela abatokota ekyali yini bana mayo kana jino politics bala bala ndo la wancha politics
Okay, thank you, Mama. Okay, I've got
Balinda. Defo kula. Timbina cho ifana tukwata na mayo Zambia. Twalipata na mayo mafayo kwimina ba president. Muno mchalo cha Swiss Zambia. Bana mayo mone tukwata sawoi. Sawoi na lamulumbula kwa tila ena mayo ulefayo kwimina Zambia. Na bateka. Basa woi ite bale seringanga na mayo. Balange na muna mayo pan yashuma na kashimusa swacha moroto mse. Balanja mashu ya kute una ena Zambia. Amashi ya kuleta bayuthi mo. Balena. Na isto ya kula spela president. O akainde na msiya nyefi. Akayabantu kuti mashani teti. Abantu bala kusula. Elo bakateka na abali very quiet. Because Zambia yafika tulefanya kutesta kona mayo president. Tumanela bana mayo wako benga teka. 2026 tulefanya trend. If start bene. Na ifaba na mayo 5 minutes fanya president 10. Tulefanya kuteta ukwesha kona mayo. Na mayo siashwa chamo chonzo. Wanakala bakateka aba. Wanakala bakateka aba. Tulefanya no mwana kashunzambi.
Okay.
No,
okay, thank you, Mama. Now, Mama Tipa has been trying to join. What name are you using? Is this Anik Matipa? Mama Tipa?
Yeah, that's Anik, yeah.
That's Anik. Okay. She has been trying to join for quite a while. Now, for some bizarre reason, I'm unable to add her. So, Mama Matipa, can you try and join using the link that I'll send it again? Now I post again because you're quite insightful in your contribution. Bakwin Pome, Lunden Ponem.
Papa female politicians. I think that
now I push at Dila am fuele, now we need top mfuele. Okay.
You know what? I was so upset even the other
day. Proper belt and my language
I know, like you know what?
Network bakwinimpumi. I think fumeni muwele na food. Mwambo babaika na imo food. Fumeni briefly and then come back. So, why do you think you men objectify women who are getting into politics?
I always tell you people, my fellow Zambians, that we have repugnant customary laws when it comes to giving our women the rights they deserve or opportunity to be in strategic positions. Even those that are already in strategic positions, you have seen the way we demonize them, the way we treat them. Venesilva Masevo, you've seen how she's been treated in parliament. The Minister of Information, the way the fellow women are coming and negating her. You see the way the Vice President has been attacked, the First Ladies. There's so much negativity in our society. The way we treat our women, it's something that really needs to start from a boy child, from home, because it is gone. It has gone all the way, even into senior positions. We see in government, the government is not represented so well. We have about few women, about 4 or 5, if I'm not mistaken. It is just a nature. It is just in our DNA that we mistreat women. Women have been subjected to so much untold suffering from the inception, and we still don't want to let go. Even the Bible itself, somehow, it negates women. Even just everything that we see today in our country, in our society, women are treated as a second hand just because of what they go through or their biological nature, you know. Yet we are forgetting that these are mothers. You are mothers that have actually created wealth and the nation. Without you guys, there was not going to be Vene HH, Vene Lungu, Vene Kachiruba, Vene Manawas. Without women, we would have been useless. But we are not looking at that. We still want to go back to Myambo. Imyambo eyalenga kuti tulekyusha abana akashi mu kyalo kyesu. Starting from homes.
What do you think this government can do to
The
help?
government can do, it's not just about the government, it's the people, the mindset. It's time to change. It's also, they have to enact laws that equalize women to have equal opportunities with men. Already we are hearing FEMA statute, FEMA innuendos that they want to legalize bigamy. Who does that? Why can't women also marry more than one man, if that's what it is? So we are just, yeah, we are just busy looking at the interest of a man, and which is so unfair. And we are leaving the most powerful creature on this planet. And the person that can even create wealth for ourselves is a woman.
Okay.
But no, our ego as men, we always take over, take precedence. Anywhere you go, Mama Court, go to Supreme Court, you will find who are judges there. How many judges, male judges, are deliberating or in charge of female judges? Every time it's a female has to be seconded.
Okay. Well, thank
So
you.
it is just in our African setup that we just need to somehow just turn a new leaf, and say, okay, women, you are one of us. We are equal. Of course, we need to also have respect. That's why we are hiding. Mufima, no, let's try to treat our women like what and what. Awe, isentubapere akashitanavo, but take tumone what they can do. Because Zambia, from the time we got independence, Tatuwa Omwana Kasha is president. Why? Nifwebeni, ourselves, our women are attacked, are insulted. How would you want I wouldn't want my wife to go into politics where she's undressed by useless creatures who are not even intelligent than her. So that, to me, it's somehow pathetic and stinks to high heaven. I think we need to change the mindset.
Okay.
That's what I can say for now.
Well, thank you so much. Mama Chikamoneka, because of your network, I think we're going to do a separate interview because Mama Chikamoneka has got some fantastic news that I wanted her to share. It's breaking news. How's your network now? Can you just say something? Let's just see if we can actually have a conversation without you breaking up. Can you hear us?
And then you fight loud and clear.
Okay. No, but mwachafo kuchitako share information na ifwe. Something nice that is happening in your life. So, you obviously went through a bit of a difficult time and you made an emotional appeal on social media, you departed the UPND because you felt there was no care because you had a situation with your children. Now, lesomo abombela through various people, and you have got some good news. Would you like to share?
Chachine, itabombera umuntu sana. Aparte de social media, abantu kugemo abenga in diaspora bali ntima sana. So panda naiswa no kunwa no kotera. Pandisho mbere bale sachikamba. Umuntu fear from nowhere. I said to my I said to my invitation letter, but to my fiance that vele nikasuye numa fwe. Mia fweko okusambisha. So pano tuleba ndo like UK. Why it is. Bali musenda kuli good Samaritan. But teacher pusha chako. Mucha just feature za. Ichi panicho na bombe. Ichi panicho pale yo fuilako. Alanga fana kontanga. But abantu fye bambi no kulia kwa diaspora yasu because amashina kwata 60 industrial machines kama niliona wile kuba PS aba munanga ama lights zakwaba so tuleboma abandisha na lero sopa banda diaspora nomba abena zambia chabo tulina na kwa tenda lama aba itu no kuventungushi kalamba tabako etem mashabantu abe ngiba president umbi siapa soba eche kwa fina bamjama mona kwa mwa yota kumwa but tule wilo kuteka bantu tuwala teka shaka bantu tule kabona kulira kwa bantu bantu achase ndo mtu fuka yaswa au foka kwa mama chikamoneka bakuni 10 bali bikire GoFundMe iya bana kuingia babo sabantu banopika mwempia babito nofye batu mama fimbo okay baya lemba mama chika mtani blackmail mama chika mtani ni sympathizer ni chata don't you know yeah ni crew she's a crew but abena zambia abena diaspora kuna bombe ni piedi so lesa bombe mbantu lesa pitira mbantu yuga totela sana kuliba diaspora pachito pachitile pantu monga chite suma nisha bombe kama ni muda diaspora wose nisha pachite suma
Mkwa
so nito sana bali nda nito ambata
lesa pale so mwana wa mama Arikuno United Kingdom, 18 years old, and she's going to start school, which is a fantastic thing. Muinengale wombe shakta, ukwale womba, ukwale sambirira, and then the future of the rest of the family could be completely different. It's paradise yet, it's land of milk and honey, but you've got opportunities to turn yourself into whatever you want to be. I remember the words of Michael Sata before I was leaving for this place. Coincidentally, at a family funeral, he was there, and he said, "Ati ningumfatu atulea kubulaya." You know, he had this crazy sense of humor, right? And he said in Nale Pianga, he used to be like a cleaner per train station, but in Gamwayoko, not kuya engrossed nama burgers, ama fish and chips. Do not forget where you're coming from. When you make a little bit of something and make something of yourself, so I hope your daughter will remember those words, because it's really important. It's no longer just about ourselves, like you make something for yourself and your family, but you come back and contribute to the development of the country. I think this is a new generation of Zambians, and I think it will be quite important for a lot of young people to know that it's not just about them. And this is why a lot of people are doing what they're doing right now. Mama Matipa, I'm terribly sorry. I think we're going to have a special kind of program with you there, because she really has been relentless trying to log on. Now, final sentiments, comrades. I'll give you 2 minutes each. It could just be advice for this government, because we are quite clear that everyone wants to see this government succeed. They may not be happy with a lot of things or a few things or maybe just one thing, but you are all united in wanting it to succeed, not for its own benefit, but for the benefit of our people. Final sentiments, any advice for this government? How do you think they can improve or win your love back? Queen Mpumi.
I think that ship sailed long time ago to win my love back.
No, win your love back for the sake of the people that you support and the charities.
You know what? I think no love. I think talking about love is something else. But I'm just here to say. I know what you mean. But I'm just saying that let this government be a government of its word. Like, you cannot make a reputation or telling lies, promising lies, not keeping them, and being quiet about it. And this is the thing which is going to haunt this government until election day. Pride. It's about time this government swallow this in the voters and apologize for every wrong they have done. Because they were high promises. They overpromised us. They promised the milk of land and honey. And literally, everybody's hurt. We are all hurt from the lies. And when you don't own the lies, people even become more hurt. And that's why we are being told we are bitter, whatever. You can call us names, but that won't change the fact that this government has lied and not owned up to their lies. I end here.
Okay, thank you very much. Mama Chikamoneka, ninshu witego winga chita pako bati makamaka imwe. Pako bati baka michite seduced back. Imwe ta moaya ta busho mwali join chipani chimbi.
Esha dine peti bank state join chipani chichon. Esha peti join ni chipani chichon. Ni pamla nwa kutia. Na ni mone fyo ba chipani chona ni mokta pamli ba mazoka. So they enjoy it, but in a water way. And sometimes you feel to 60 years. Mukusambiri shiwa. So in any somebody that feels sana. Mama politics. So the tip and get a mistake. Ero na landa mashi ya badinda banks. Yala family Bible. Aya mashi wina landa na la family Bible. Na la family Joshua wa kwamba ukulenga pa 1 ufika pa 9. Aya mashiwi na ya tela kuba HH7. Aya mashiwi na nyambi ba Joshua 1 verse 1 to 9. Ya family Bible ya let me refer aya invest to the president ba HH7. Iyo Moses self we desa ni kutia Moses eo na ebe kunyamba na ba hizo. Lesa tontonge nyenina na yanisha kwa Moses. Asontere Joshua ukumaking sure kutila aben abana ba Israel abana land. No ma kwa ifobe. Efyo lesa aibele Joshua. Before tala mshakra mfiko. Joshua kwa be courageous. Be strong. Aya mashu ya waka ni una 23 ba aka ile ba balu eba baisa kula imo pipiana pa kuchushi mo so ba Zambia ukwisa mipia kama gasi ya na Zambia ukwisa bali tukaka ulenga na before so esali mwendo kutia na chia na imo ba aka ichema ukute cha Zambia pakutila vena Zambia etende and for sure kuli pressure free abantu bayendela kuli tumoto ninga penda wila no boma duashna apano baino 23 batata paka inde bomfieni ya mashwi ba bere Joshua kuli leso kutila be strong be courageous kule nyama tui Yesu ke yale ufwe file na ba grassroots oko balila no tukubika bombe Not you could trust anyone. That's your own. Who are you so weak about business? Who are you so weak about MP? Who are you so weak about councillors? Bakutila mama kula so weak about MPs. On say MP wafanya. Ama red card na yellow card ile masta masaka. Ama reshuffles. Pan tualena Zambia ba ina sula batata. Ukwa kwa mfo ya kwano komutanshi. Twamyebe chinka kata grassroots. Abantu alikaipa. Lela vilepa. Lela viputa mwa tula puti. Ifindera ndishinka kiti apulika. Abantu alega ipia circulation tamwa. Abantu bade ko kushama restaurant. Wali dula. Abasara diari dula na ngwepi. Abantu bade ko kusamba. Abantu fifi ko fyali kwa maya ndani fuga. Kuima kuma voters ekuli ubwati ababonse na ninga posta ba tichaba nani but majority bantu abashabira majority bantu abashabira bajabe labda nini na kopia ka state house umutanto tomati ya mukumi na kopia ka state house eba lechula no magachakwa UPN ya wake ukufuma ba tema sector ba DC sakataino 2023 atamkose kwa mano mukabwera kuli banani because wasaka ya ndaluka abo sima puti bani baleti kasende mama tsoma ngata mama tsoma PF ile uno petiteni on so bani ya tiba PF mwikale na bela batata bakai mube kuchichi
Okay.
taka tumufuma UPND then we because if I minister, it's a toilet fire, you move about Joshua. So,
Okay, mama. Okay.
Joshua behind it. Well, na lungu kupona. Ale tu ala ofisi ya ofisi. Wote wale chinga kwa pia. Leteni tata, mwikale na mwikisha.
Okay. Thank you, Mama. Thank you very much. Now, just 3 things that you think this government has done well. Surely, pari kofi mofo mwena toke. Na bachitako bwinu hapa.
Ba president ukwane chinka, ichi chinka kande ngo mutungwa. Dawe Napoleons. Kantu nalisho konga na kontu alande ichongani no tachika. Ifintu abomere ko wino bakateza. Ikipacha UPND. Number 1. Mutembe pressure free. Ama yendele free. Tatwale yendela balinda banks. Tatwale la balinda banks. Apo mina Zambia onse. Yendela pressure free. Number 2, if we balete na yena na babomba kalamba ngati no post kama teachers na babomba sana makalamba because za besmari ama no kusari kama yanga umuntu ngale bomba kutasha sio babomba tutu atasha if vipile kwa latina filipa bantu balanda tu kwa la so na babomba kwa sintu na atasha
to attach.
No,
thank you so much. Viewers, if you could comment 3 things that you feel this government, we have talked about a lot of things that we feel they could do better at. And if you could just type in 3 things that you feel this government has done well, that you're grateful for, because in as much as they're doing a lot of things or a few things, for some of you it's a lot, but for others it's a few things, they're not perfect. I will give you an example. You were talking about appointments. Some people are not very happy. Just today, there was a breaking news story in England. This was broadcast on all major stations. The BBC had this chairperson, like ku ZNBC, vale folk appointed nankani. Director General. So now the director equivalent of Director General will be ZNBC. Kuno ali munabo waba batata Boris Johnson. So ali bafuisha kukubapela ko £100,000 abapela. Then after abapela, bam salat ni Director General. So it's caused a lot of problems. So it made me laugh actually, not laughing like ha ha, but it's quite interesting how AMA politics, they're the same everywhere. People kind of tend to employ people who they trust, who they've worked with. They know that they can help them carry that vision. But the only difference is this president made a promise that things are going to be different. You have to just be able to be a Zambian, be competent, be qualified, and you will be in for the running. Because what they want to talk about connections. You know, some of us we've been sure from the get-go. The one to State House, you're thinking, how am I going to have a look in when it comes to employment? Mishek, your final sentiments, 3 things that you're really happy about this government, and perhaps one general comment, just in 2 minutes, please.
Thank you so much. Yeah, one of the few things that they've done well is sticking to some of the promises, such as increment in terms of salaries for civil servants. That's very good. And also education. You know, education is the best equalizer, just like the president says. So that is good. I hope the president also fulfills the promise of at least, you know, ensuring that students, you know, do not pay what you would call, like in terms of remittances, you know, they are supposed to pay, you know, back their education. If he can try to put up a team that can help and discuss with the higher education board to regulate how much.
3 things you're happy about. 3 things you're happy about.
Yeah, so that's you know, the reintroduction of meal allowances for students. That's what I'm headed to. And the third one I would say is you know, peace and stability. There was confusion. Panga family was everywhere. There were, you know, like militia groups, you know, insulting women and beatings everywhere, and like even beating journalists. In fact, that's how it, you know, it had escalated. But I hope that you know, there's an adage by, you know, Lord Acton. He once said, "Power corrupts, but too much power corrupts absolutely." So I hope UPND does not continue dancing on the thing or the adage of Fimba Upoke. They should, you know, not hallucinate about, you know, whatever things people are talking about. They should be able to listen. And also the people around the president, they should not be scared to advise him, because the more you do not advise him, you know, the sooner he's going to be, you know, taken into what I would term a political bin, you know, just like President Lungu, you know, in 2021. And also, you know, the UPND government should be able to, you know, move as fast as possible in ensuring that most of the positions are fulfilled in missions, even just, you know, locally, and also ensure that they fulfill various promises. And I think President Hakainde Hichilema also should reduce on aspects of self-praise and wait until his term is done. Then we Zambians, we shall evaluate, but he can use the yardstick to compare and also try to, you know, learn from the late President Levi Patrick Manawasa, who fought extremely, you know, issues of corruption, and also he was firing. You do not have to fear when you're president. When you hear there's corruption issues among your cabinet, fire and hire. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Before we have we've got John Zulu saying removal of cadres, free education, employment of civil servants, at least ababa sebenza, ushtasha mwana wandoshi. Anik Matipa, how I wish I could join this show. Impossible to use the link from my end. Apologies. We have got Susan saying, I'm watching, following the discourse. We've got Nikki saying very mature and sober discourse, despite the different political ideologies. It's a very sober engagement. Fantastic. Now, this is the Zambia we want. A Zambia where you can have different views, divergent views, but respect each other enough to have a sober conversation. Okay? Now, 3 things that you're really proud that this government has managed to achieve, please, in conclusion.
Thank you so much, Volinda, and thank you so much, our panelists. I really enjoyed having a conversation, a normal symbiotic conversation with everyone here. That was amazing. You guys, we hear you, we hear your cry there for real. Well, the government, to be honest, Balikani, Chavasa Jesus, Chavasa Zambia, this government that we gave the mandate for 5 years is doing everything possible. And we have seen so far within 1 year, 8 months, we have seen the efforts they have tried. Within this 1 year, we have seen something happening, especially when we look at where we are coming from, how the country was damaged to the time where we took over. This government has done something that is very tremendous. We know the good things they've done. But sometimes I feel like if we were panga monsters, because of these blames, we are busy showering and demeaning when someone is spending sleepless nights. They get frustrated. They are human beings too. It was not going to be an easy task. We know that. Even us who are busy talking here, thinking we can do much better if we were in the playing field, we would actually hit those uh, turbulences. But the issue, yes, we understand that there are certain things that this government is lacking behind, which they are learning as well. We learn through mistakes. They are not angels. HH is not abracadabra, the prophet that is going to come and change and give us everything. Yes, he may have made those promises. Promises are that he is going to make a change. And some of those things we have seen, the recruitment of teachers, the recruitment of medical staff, and we have seen the education, we have seen this reactive position where the government today is reactive in nature. The moment people are complaining, tomorrow we hear the government is sitting down having a meeting and discuss on how to mitigate the challenges. For example, the fertilizer delayments. They came to our aid and told us, look, the reasons to why. We came to load shedding. They've come back to us and told us the reason to why. And we see the efforts being made. And that is how we are supposed to go. It is not going to be easy. We are also faced with calamities, floods. We are faced with droughts. There are all these unnatural the nature that is also that are challenging. So we can tell that they are not tevale savaka in the yo to give us all the answers within 1 year, 8 months. We gave this gentleman and the team 5 years. Let us judge him at the end of the game and rate them. We see whether those promises that he made are really were not fulfilled. Then we'll be able to say he is. Now we can even name tag him that he's a liar. Because right now, for us to call him a liar, I find it to be a little bit unfair because he never gave us a time frame. And we know there's certain challenges that these guys found, that the money that was not in the coffers, where do you think they are going to find the money? Are they going to use their own money?
Okay.
Or are they going to get the money from the government, from the people? And how? How have we paid back the debt already? Has the debt been paid that the previous government defaulted? Have we recovered all those things that were destroyed? So these are the questions. And why? What is it that we want? Do we have the capacity? Do we have the money? Is this government hiding from us the truth about distribution of wealth in our country? Are we not seeing CDF? Are we not seeing these small little developments here and there? We should anticipate problems, and it wasn't going to come easy. It's never going to be easy on a silver platter. And that's why I appreciate the removal of tantamen.
Thank
Let's
you.
work
Thank you.
together
Okay.
and bring this government our country. Because once the government succeed, it's us, the people, to succeed, and we'll be happy. And
Thank
we
you
should
so much.
also think for the future.
All right.
Let's do everything for our children, not
Okay.
just us.
Bomux,
I think
thank you
that's what
very
I can
much.
say.
Excellent. We have 2 minutes before we are completely cut off.
1 minute. Can you give me a minute? I just want to respond to what Wokezeli has said.
Okay.
So
And that
Wokezeli, you
minute,
said
and that minute means we'll never be able to rebroadcast this program because there are limits and constraints onto this platform.
Okay.
You are our guest, so for that it's fine. Go ahead.
So I just wanted to reply to Wokezeli where he's saying let us give him 5 years. So I just want to say that when a boat is sinking, you don't wait to say we are supposed to sail for 5 years before we get out. So I think let's accept checks and balances for a healthy country. We need to steer the ship in the right direction. If they're going off course, we need to talk. And then the minerals is there. There was in Congo, but there's things like lithium, which are $80,000 per ton. So money is there.
Okay.
So Zambia is a rich country. And no excuses. Let's not make excuses for this government. We are not going to get anywhere if we continue making excuses and idolizing the president. No.
Okay, thank you very much. We should not be making excuses for this government, not
Linda,
I'm sorry, I have to end this. Apologies, I'm gonna have to end this. We will never have to broadcast this, unfortunately. We have got certain constraints when it comes to how we air these shows. If we go past a particular time, we'll never see this program. It's gone, which is a shame because some people who were unable to watch would be good to rebroadcast it so that they can see it. Apologies. The conversation will carry on in the background. But what I wanted to say was thank you so much for having joined this program, and sincere apologies for those who were unable to do this. I'm getting lots of requests that we should repeat this. Matipa, apologies. You've tried your very best. Now, it's there's a consensus that this government obviously has got a lot of things that they could work on, and people are not advocating for change of government, but they're advocating for change of players. Perhaps the government should, the president even, the principal himself should be bold enough and swap some chess players in his cabinet. You heard it from here. Till next time, thank you so much. Good night from me. God bless you and God bless our country. Good night.